Hi guys, it's me Liz with 143 Handmade. Today we are going to be doing the trimming on the Crazy Quilt blocks. So I use this standard 12.5 inch ruler. This one happens to be an Omni Grip. These are my favorite. The Omni Grips are my favorite rulers. I also have some Omni Grids. The significant difference between the Omni Grid and the Omni Grip is this one, it has, I don't know what it is, but it has, it grips the fabric better. Oh, sorry about that. You know, when you move it around, it doesn't slide as easily on the fabric, which, you know, that's good for when you're trying to frame up something and cut it. So, sorry about that shake. My table's not super steady, but all I do at this point is scooch the cats along. That was my lady lovely lashes. But so at this point, you know, you're free to move the ruler around. And yeah, you have those stay stitches, you know, that you did around the outside edge if you're following along exactly. But you can either pick those out or just leave them as a pop of color, a stitch detail, you know, because I like to go back and add some top stitching, even when it's not necessary, just for interest. I will go back and add some. Lady, I need you to go right now. Scooch. Thank you. Okay, well, that's close enough. So, you can go right on your line, or you can decide, you know, hey, I really like this section of block over here, you know, and that covers, and just cut and ignore that line. And then you'll have to go back, or what I would do is I go back and I would add the stay stitching, you know, around the outside edge again. But I think on this one I'm going to go ahead and just roughly stick to that line. My puppies have a tennis ball that they're playing with in the other room, so you might hear some funny noises, but it's all good. So yep, just get it lined up wherever you want to cut it. And then just take your rotary cutter and trim. I think I need a new blade in my rotary cutter. So instead of fighting that, I'm just going to come in here and trim my fingers on with this pair of scissors. Sometimes it's easier that way. So, and you'll notice I did cut off some of the stay stitching. Not all of it, but some of it. And that's fine. It's totally fine. I will go back and add another round. And I know that that seems like a lot of back and forth. And it kind of is, and there's probably a better way, you know, to do this. This is just the process that I have started using, or that I have found works for me at this point, and it will grow and evolve, you know, with me as a sewist. So, it's funny, my husband asked me the other day, he's like, what's the difference between a sewist and a seamstress? And I was like, well, I don't know what it is officially, but to me, a seamstress is somebody who makes clothes, and a sewist is just somebody who sews whatever they sew. Like I said, I have no idea if that's accurate or not. But that's what it is in my head. So, there we go. So if any of you out there actually know the official, oh, my card just, but yeah, if any of you out there know the official difference between a sewist and a seamstress, I would love to hear it. My card came off all weird. So yeah, I definitely have a dull spot in my blade. So, but yeah, is there a difference between a sewist and a seamstress? I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. I have to fix my blade real quick. because as you can see, my guard is just flopping around all crazy like. There you go. Sometimes these little nuts are really hard to get started. You got fuzzies under there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a new blade. Thankfully, I know right where they are. Let's see, this is how I keep my blades. Impromptu little lesson here. I have this box that has my used blades in it because those are still good for a myriad of things. Just not for in your actual cutter. And so I'll take this blade very, very carefully, put it in there. And again, very, very carefully take a single blade, because sometimes they stick together. The oil, kind of, you kind of have to make sure that you're only getting one. Okay. There we go. And this is just this one rotary cutter. There's a ton of different ways to. Each cutter has its own, set of rules and how you got to change it and all that. So this one's super simple. This is just one of the most basic Fiskars ones, and it has this lock, and you can lock it in both the closed and the open position, which is kind of cool. So, but I tend to just leave it unlocked, and I'll just do this, use it, and then let go so that when I set it down it is closed. So, okay, checking my line again. Yep, that's good. Rotate. And honestly, normally when I'm doing this by myself, it does not take nearly this long. Fumbling a little bit on camera this morning. Nice clean cut. So, I don't know if you noticed that, but my ruler shifted ever so slightly while I was cutting. But it looks like I'm going to be okay. Let's spin again. And a lot of times when I do these cuts not on camera, I will be standing instead of sitting. So I feel like that gives me a lot more control. So there we go. And so there's that one trimmed. You can see this orange line of stitching. That will be hidden in the seam allowance when these get attached. And so, like I said, at this point you can go back and if you have any hangy bits, go ahead and run another little stay stitch around wherever you need to. And then that block is ready to go. So, I don't know, because in the series I have block 1, block 2. I didn't keep track of which one was which. Block 1, block 2. Because it's really just not that important to me. In this situation, which one's which. So this is just the next block in my stack. I'm going to be cutting. Okay, so even with the new blade, I had a little sticky spot there because there was a lot of layers of thick fabric. I've never had a rotating mat, so I don't know if that would be helpful or not. Like on a level, it seems like it would be, but then again, never had one, so I really don't know. Okay. Huh, that's strange. Even with the new blade, that's what gave me so much trouble. I do like to rotate it so that way every time, so that way I'm getting that good right hand straight cut on it. Unless I'm standing. If I'm standing, I can position it to where I can do both this one and the top one. you know, and so I'd only have to rotate it twice for each block. I think I'm gonna have maybe try and get my kids to help me figure out how to record that. My son's helping me figure out different camera angles and whatnot. So hopefully we can get that done soon. But yeah, see on this one, I definitely would go back and do a stay stitch, because this little corner, see how it's flipping and flopping like that? That when you're going to go attach them, that would very easily get flipped like this. And, you know, or scrunched or something. And so that one, I'll definitely be adding a stay stitch to. And honestly, sometimes I will go ahead and just grab out the regular hand needle and thread and just throw a couple stitches in it. Right there on the edge. If it's not like a lot that needs reinforcing. So. That's all there is to it. It's not hard, it's just time consuming, you know. And honestly, there for a minute when I was first getting into sewing, that was important to me. I wanted to do stuff that took up time, because I had too much time on my hands there for a minute. And anybody who's ever struggled with depression, whether it's, you know, lifelong or temporary, you know, situational, instead of temporary, situational, you know, sometimes in life, especially, you know, like I said, when you have depression issues, too much time is the worst thing in the world, because it allows you to be in your head too much. And so this system was created during a time when I needed to fill time, and now I'm at a place. I wonder why the guard keeps doing that. It's weird. But yeah, the system was created at a time in my life when I needed to fill my time. I did not have enough to fill my time at the time. So that guard, go back on there. Like I said, I don't know why that's happening. I've never had that happen before. I need to add just a dab of glue in there. Okay, yep, that's still good. So, but yeah, now I'm at a place in my life where I don't need to fill my time. You know, I'm in a much healthier place mentally, physically. You know, a lot of things. And so this system will be evolving, you know, to a system that doesn't take up so much time, I'm sure. But this is just the first go round since I've been feeling better, and so I'm just kind of trying to do what I know works for me. And then, like I said, I'll tweak it as I go, so that way I can get more efficient with my time again. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did not cut back here with my rotary tool because it was actually hanging off the mat just ever so slightly, and I did not want to risk hitting my glass table with my rotary cutter, because that's what dulls my blades more than anything. Is I'll slip off the mat onto my glass table and it just curls over a section of blade. So, but my son, my youngest son, is getting into blacksmithing. We're building him a coal forge, or he's building himself a coal forge, actually. We're helping him, but like he is doing the bulk of the work. And the reason why I mentioned that is because these used blades is something that he's asked if he could have and make knives out of and whatnot, have that metal. So very excited to see where that goes. will be developing his YouTube channel over the next year or so. It's not out yet. Once it is, I will go back and link it below. But yeah, at the time of the airing of this, his channel is not out yet. We're just building a video stock, you know, building it up at the moment behind the scenes, and then we're going to do releases. So yeah, on this one, I think everything looks good as far as stay stitching goes, except for possibly right here. This fabric really likes to poof up. It's a polyester stretchy, and so it has some, you know, behavioral issues. So, and here we go, here's our last one. Now, I do add the faux furs or the minkies, and so sometimes when you're putting your ruler over the top of that, it can get a little seesaw-y, and you know, you just work around it. Just let it be, you know. This is not, I am a messy sewist. I've been hanging out with my mother-in-law a little bit lately, and she, I think I've mentioned before, she's sewn like off and on her whole life, and she has sewn clothes, and I'm gonna have to edit out my dog's barking, so not exactly sure what all that's gonna, you know, erase of what I said, so I'm gonna go back a little bit and say that my mother-in-law, she has sewn clothing, like I said, pretty much her whole life, from what I understand, and but then she got a job, I'm not even sure how long ago, but where she was doing the upholstery for fabric, and she's kind of burnt out on sewing at this point, you know, having to go and do it all day, every day for somebody else, and she wasn't particularly happy with her bosses, so some of the stuff she really enjoyed, but it kind of burnt her out on sewing. But she has very graciously said that she would help me, because as I said, I sew, and I've sewn several quilts at this point, but I don't do anything dimensional. Everything I sew is flat, you know. But she has said she's going to help me sew a robe, so she will be coming down and helping me with that. But and I forgot why I was saying all of that. Something about my precision. Yeah, she's gonna come down, and I'm a messy sewist. She's a precision sewist, so we'll see. You know, I'm sure we'll have fun doing it, you know, but she's gonna try and help me work on my precision a little bit. We'll see how that goes. So, thank you so much for joining me, and so now we have our first 5 blocks trimmed to fit. So what I will do is, see, I have my little record here, and I have my little chart. This is the blanket, you know, each one of the squares of the blanket, and these top 5, these top 5 are, the liner is cut, and actually the liner is cut for all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and add the dots. I hope you can see around my lady. But yeah, I add a dot to the center of each dot, or center of each square when the liner is cut. And then I add a single slash across when it is sewn but not trimmed yet. And then I put the other slash in the box when it gets trimmed. So all of my liners are cut, and the first 5 are sewn and trimmed. So I am on my way. Excuse me, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing on this video. But so yeah. Okay, so that's what I do with the blocks. That's how I do the blocks themselves. But now see, I have this pile of scrap. And so what I actually do is I will go through and I will pick through this. And I will get my seam ripper, and that way if there's any fabric that I want to salvage that is sewn, I'll just go through and I just pop every, third or fourth stitch or so, and then typically it just kind of falls apart at that point. So that's my kitty. I can see her. It's okay. The plastic she has, she can't actually do anything to. She can just crinkle it. Now, sometimes the liner fabric is in good enough condition that I will throw this back in and use it on the top. And then other times I will go ahead and just throw it out. So what I'll do is I will have a cat bed pile, and that's where, like this kind of stuff goes, where it's just the itty bitties. The itty bitty pieces and shreds and things will go into the cat bed. And when I say cat bed, I mean cardboard box over there on top of my freezer that has a larger piece of scrap material over all the little pieces. That's what I mean by that. I don't actually sew it into a proper bed. But, so yeah, that's, and again, at this point, it's really up to you, what you want to save, what's worth the effort to you, what you want to just throw out, all of those things. So, that was my, it's time to go walk the dogs alarm. So, that's what my next step will be. But, like I said, you can save as much of this as you want, you can throw out as much of this as you want. It's, totally personal preference, as is most things with this project. And that's one of the things I love about it, is that it's not, there's no right way, there's no wrong way. Just if you sew securely, then, in the end, you're going to end up with a good blanket. And that's all that really matters. Sorry about that. My cat just jumped on my shoulder and then used me to jump up on the shelves behind me. And she's not a little kitty. She's not fat or anything. She's not overweight. She's just a big cat. So, so yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And this is not my best video, and I know that. I'm sorry. Still learning.